Hello, beloved virtual world. How are you? In a sound. I am. That's how I am in a sound. Words can only go so far. But I will use words today because I feel this rumbling little truth that would love to be exposed and shared. A friend of mine, Clara, shared this post yesterday about how there's like an echoing shame and fear with people expressing their truth. And it really inspired me. She was like, share here what your unique truth is, and this is like a permission slip. And I wrote a comment and I remembered the frequency of what unique truth feels like. And so today I'm going to share a little story, something that I've been going through over the past year that came to completion yesterday, and I'm kind of celebrating. And it's regarding physical disease, and also just a few tips, first off, on coming out of the closet with your unique truth. We're living in a time where we all have to express our unique truth because we're each a unique puzzle piece that completes the whole puzzle. And we're each shaped completely differently. That's why the game is fun. That's why Source is excited to be you. And that's why we have this like life experience, because we each embody a unique aspect of the whole. And so a little encouragement on expressing your unique truth. Be okay with everybody disagreeing with you. Be okay with being projected onto, meaning being name called and judged. Be okay with that. Be okay with having disagreement in the air. And be okay with remembering that it's all a game. And that if there's something that is hard for you to acknowledge that's not a game, then feel that. Like, what is that attachment to? Oh, that must not be a game. That must be really, 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 really real. Just, inviting you to peek into when it's really hard for you to acknowledge that something is just a game. And the other thing is being okay with discovering that you're wrong, right? Because there is no right or wrong. So every time we feel like we're right, the wrong comes up. We're always learning new perspectives. And that's why this beautiful life is so eternal and magical. Because think of it as like a diamond. We each have like an edge on the diamond, and we keep learning the other perspective. We keep learning the other edge, and that's what makes it so beautiful and shiny and glowy. So I'm going to express my unique truth today of something that's really, really scary for me, and also is my passion that I'm most excited about sharing with the world. I'll do it through story, because through personal story, we actually co-create a story, and we can awaken one another in ways that maybe not even resonate with each other. It's like a popcorn bowl, like popping, right? We all need to be popped so we can be this big, delicious bowl of popcorn, and we can enjoy the show. But we're each our own unique popcorn, and we each pop at different times, and we each pop in different ways. So disclaimer, I don't believe that I know the ultimate truth, and I don't believe that this is the only truth. I just believe that it is this truth that wants to be birthed through me right now, and it feels like coming out of the closet. So since coronavirus started, I went to Planned Parenthood to make sure that I'm clean. And they massaged my breast and my armpit, and they were like, oh my God, you got really, really big lumps there. And in my reality, I was like, and this doctor was like really nervous. Like, she looked at me like I was going to die any day. And I could tell her vibration was really off. I came into the office that morning with my vibration being really, really off. And I was like, of course I'm stepping into this reality where I'm going to die every day, because that's the energetic field that I've been in. And I've been in fear and I've been in anxiety. That's when coronavirus just started hitting. And I told her, I'm like, actually, I've always had skin problems, and I've had ingrown hairs, and I've had abscesses, and I've been misdiagnosed by doctors for skin problems while I was little. I was put on steroids and cortisones and steroids, cortisone, and other medication that really affected my body negatively, because I was misdiagnosed for just an emotional problem of me scratching my skin. So she was like, no, this is not abscesses. This is not ingrown hairs. That is definitely like basically she said there's death written all over it. So I was like, okay. And it was hard for me to receive because I was doing sessions with people that had chronic illness or chronic pain, and doing sessions where they went into remembrance and tapped into their innate technologies to be whole and complete and healed. And miracles were happening. And I had miracles on myself as well that year, of like infections being healed instantaneously, sicknesses being like, just like people with Lyme's disease, and somebody that couldn't walk to their garage with lung cancer all of a sudden did laps around the house while being on the phone, just while holding the state of remembrance that we're whole and complete and healed and connected to pure potential source energy. So I was just stepping into being present when miracles were happening for people, seeing them as whole and complete, even like injuries. And I was actually scared by how easy it was. I was like, whoa, like, am I going to get into trouble for echoing this truth and for holding the space for people? And that's when this, oh, hello. Wait, hold on one sec. Bella, come boo boo. Baby dragon. Thanks, love. So patient. Oh, no worries, love.
We'll be back.
There's no time. Okay. So I was just stepping into that, and so I was like, fuck, is this an initiation, or is this the universe giving me a really badass smack, teaching me a lesson about how I'm wrong? And so I was like, you know what? After thinking about it a while, I already know how attention works. Like, if I give it attention, and if I go getting tests and all that, I've already been in labs with a partner that was doing energetic healing work for people. I've already sat with people that had cancer and went and dove into the story with them of how did they discover they had cancer? How did the story unfold where they discovered they had this disease? And while going through the story, we were able to dismantle the story and realize that like that label of whatever disease they had was actually just like the extreme point of whatever energetic pull they were. Oh, there's a problem. What's the name of the problem? What's the name of the problem? And once that story was acknowledged, there were miracles. And so I was like feeling like, oh my God, have I been a bypasser? I've been being in denial. Like, this is my lesson that I'm going to learn because I've been, echoing truths that may hurt people. And so I was freaking out, and I'm like, you know what? Regardless, I am going to go get a mammogram. So I went especially to LA, which is like 8 hours away from me then, because that's where my health insurance was. And they're like, it's really complicated. It's going to take a while to move your health insurance. I'm just going to go. So I went to get a mammogram, and while sitting in the office for an hour and just like blessing the people in the room, because I'm like, why am I here? This is really weird. I don't even believe in this. They didn't take my insurance that day. And it was really weird because the doctor checked that office took my insurance, and they checked that the insurance, like, it was really weird. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not meant to be checking this right now. And they surrendered. And then I tried reaching another doctor that specialized in that, and coronavirus just hit. So I had no way, like, it was really weird then. Doctors were being very picky about who came in. And I just let it go for a while and went back home. And this was in April or March, I think. And so I was like, okay, it didn't happen. I'm going to surrender. And really, every time I tried getting it checked, like, the energetics would get really weird and distorted, and phones would hang up. And so for months, I thought that I was, just because I was almost too afraid to do that remembrance healing on myself. And I barely talked about it for a while, only with very, very few friends. And I started experiencing a lot of pain in my left breast and imagining lumps in my left breast. And I started just going through a death process. I was like, and my body was responding. I was in immense pain. It got so extreme. It happened in waves, and it was getting worse and worse. I could barely move my left arm at times, and my left breast was so inflamed. And I was like, I'm dying. And I already like planned out, like, okay, will I do chemo? When I finally get this checked, my insurance was being moved to the area that I'm in. And I already faced all the types of realities that I could possibly face, like doing chemo, being okay with doing chemo, being okay with being wrong, being okay with dying. Like, what would that look like if I died from breast cancer? And being okay with, just being taught a whole new lesson on compassion. And so I let it go for a while because every time I tried finding a doctor, it would like fall through, and like I finally have my health insurance moved here now. But through that whole process, I would share the story with people I felt safe with and tap into that remembrance space that it's a story and that I'm whole and complete, and miracles started happening. I met a woman that does coil, and she said, oh, I healed a lump in my breast, and she did a coil session on me. And then another angel friend held me while I was telling the story and weeping, and how much shame I feel regarding thinking that people could heal themselves so easily, and now I'm being punished and being taught a lesson. And like, he held space for me to release that story. And there was a peak that it just completely evaporated. Like, I was zero energetic fear. Like, there was no fear anymore. I was okay with anything. I was like, I'm okay with dying. I know exactly how I'm gonna die. I know exactly how I'm gonna like leave my echo on this planet. And I really felt complete with it. And once I felt complete, any pain, just, there was nothing left. Like, I didn't feel anything. Oop. Thanks, love. Wait, hold on, guys. You got a glimpse into my personal life. Thank you.
Here you go. Ooh. And then
Oh,
I can run
good
a
girl.
card in for you.
Okay, thanks, love. Boop.
Thank you.
Thanks, love. Okay, so I reached completion, and once I reached completion, there were no, like, my breast wasn't swelled anymore. There was no pain. I felt amazing, and that was after barely being able to sleep on it. It was really like bad, and then it just completely disappeared. And there were a few miracles that happened. And once that happened, I went to get it. There was like zero charge to any reality. Oh, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen. There was like just, I'm complete. I am whole. No matter what, I'm one with source, and source is love, and like whatever's meant to be is like perfect and divine and just filled with gratitude. And then yesterday I went to the Planned Parenthood here because my health insurance I had to go to Planned Parenthood again, because I couldn't find a primary doctor or whatever, blah, 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 the whole system. And I meet this fairy doctor. And I tell her the story. I'm like, I've always had these skin problems, and I've always had but the last doctor, she was calling me, by the way, like, you better get your armpit checked. You better get a mammogram. Like, this is bad. She was sending me messages like, this is bad. Did you get it checked? Like, and I couldn't because there were constant complications coming up. I'm like, this must be a gift. So yesterday I went, and there was this like fairy godmother doctor with colored hair. She had like blue, purple, and pink in her hair, and she was just filled with joy. And I was like joking around with the nurse, and I really couldn't care less. Like, whatever she would say, I was like totally fine with it. And I tell her story. Like, I'm like, she thought it was really bad. I came here for a mammogram, like to be able to get a thing for a mammogram, whatever, a referral. And I don't know, like, I have these 3 lumps in my armpit, but I'm not worried about it. And like, I prefer not go get tested and all that, but if I need to, I need to. And she felt it, and she's like, oh dear, like, yeah, those are just like hair sockets, and like it turned into a clump. Oop.
Here you go. Enjoy the rest
Thanks,
of your day.
love. You too. It just turned into like a closed socket thing, a ball, and it could be really hard. And then I showed her something on my neck. I'm like, I think this is like a lymph node thing that was swelled, that the other doctor also checked, and she's like, that's bad, that you don't even have lymph nodes there. And this doctor was like, yeah, that's totally fine. I have those all over my body. She's like, you could get it checked at a dermatologist. But then she gave me the whole science behind what I actually have in my armpit, and like how it happened and why they're so hard, and that there's no reason to even remove them. So the reason I'm telling this story is because stories are fun, but also because I believe that we have the power to be complete and whole and healed really, really simply and immediately. And I feel that there's a great fear of humans acknowledging that, because it feels like death. It feels like death to a story. In a way, Dr. Joe Dispenza says we're addicted to the chemicals of struggle. Like, if there's a struggle video game of like, so many times people are like, I have a chronic injury, I have a chronic illness. Like, I'm like, oh, would you like help with that? They're like, no, it's chronic. Like, there's almost this like, you better not kill my story, because that's me and I identify with that. And you better not tell me how easy it is to be whole and complete, because it feels like death, because it is death. Death isn't what we believe it to be. It's just a melting into a less dense reality and remembrance of how unified we are. So you lose a part of you dies. And death is actually healthy. What if death was healthy? Like, die a little every day, you know? And, yeah, like these, you know, like people are so attached. Like anybody who gets sick now is like doing the coronavirus test. And yeah, I'm not saying that it's not real. It is real if you make it real. Can you comprehend? Can you acknowledge that you have the power with your attention to fuel a reality and make it real? It's harder when the collective around you doesn't agree with the reality and how you're fueling your attention. Can you be okay that there are multiple realities at the same time? Can you be okay with coronavirus being real and not real? Can you be okay with that? Can you be okay with the fact that every person has their personal journey and their personal unfolding, and that we live in a multidimensional quantum field of endless possibility? Can you step and embrace that eternal you? Can you hold that space for another? Can you hear me and disagree with me? Because I'm okay with you not believing me and still sharing my truth. And I feel like that is the medicine that's needed now, is to be able to hold that space for each other. And so it's funny to me because people are getting, you know, like they get a little sick and then they get the coronavirus test and they're like, I'm sick, I'm not sick. But like they've even said multiple times, I don't even know what the percentage of it being a for sure answer is or not. Like, it's low. It's not the ultimate answer either. And there are going to be many people who disagree with me, and I'm breathing it in. Ooh, the shame, the projections. This woman is crazy. She's a bypasser. She doesn't know. She's crazy. I better unfollow her. Oh, she's mad. We better save humanity from this insane woman. I don't know, whatever the fuck this video might awaken in people. But yeah, we can create any reality with our attention, and the disease could be real and it could be not real, and your natural state is completion, is wholeness and wellness, and it's very, very, very simple. And once you accept that in you, then you'll have people and angels reflecting that back to you. Anyway, I think I'm done with the story. That was long. Thank you for peeking in to me coming out of the closet, and be you, because that's totally cool. Bye.